Spurge here, and in this video we're going to break down and discuss the new Stylmartin Vertigo boots. So really what you're going to see from Stylmartin is a new line of hiking styled boots. This is something that we've seen really become popular in the motorcycle world. So the boots themselves just look like something you would see at like an REI hiking store, but with motorcycle protection baked into this. Now there's two different versions on the table. The brown leather that you see right here is the waterproof version. The gray version over here is going to be the air version. There's only a $10 difference between the two. So if you want waterproof, these are going to be coming in around the $250 price point. And if you want the air versions, around the $240 price point. Now what I will say is that one of the struggles that I have is actually finding boots right now that aren't waterproof in a style that I like. And I like the fact that Stylmartin has introduced an air version. I find that in the summertime, my feet get really hot with a waterproof boot on, and I would rather sacrifice the waterproof protection for air. So I'm super stoked that they have an air version. What I will say is my only real nitpick with this boot personally is that I don't like the big Stylmartin logo running down the side, and it's on both pairs and you really can't miss it. So I would love to see a future iteration of this where that Stylmartin logo is just more subdued or removed completely. I'm okay with it up in the ankle puck area, just not, flashing down the side. That being said, the overall boot, it is going to be perfect for those of you out there that just want a hiking style riding shoe. It's going to give you protection and all day comfort. From a sizing standpoint, I want to hit this up front because what I noticed with Stylmartin's conversion on their size chart, it does get a bit confusing. If you know what your European size is, if you know that you're typically a 46 European size, you should have no issues or surprises using the European half of the size chart. The issue comes when you're converting over from US. You'll notice that if you're looking at the US side, there's not a lot of half sizes represented. Sometimes there's not a whole size represented. Like you won't see a 12, but you'll see a 12 and a half. So if you're looking at the US size and you're converting over, we find that, if you're in between sizes or if you're not entirely sure, sizing up one size on the conversion is probably the way to go. So look at what the conversion tells you to go and then bump up one size on the European side of things. Now from a width standpoint, it's not a narrow width, not a wide width. I would call this a D width, very standard, but not nearly as narrow as what we've seen from some European manufacturers. And sizes will range from a 38 up to a 47. So from a height standpoint, you can see that there's a bit of a gradient here where it's a little bit taller in the front and then it kind of flows back to the back of the ankle. About 8 inches high at its tallest point and about 7.5 inches high at its lowest point. So you'll notice that you're going to get that extra bit of protection up and over your ankles. And then for the waterproof version, the waterproof stops right around that last main eyelet before you get up into these plastic eyelets. It would have been nice to see these plastic eyelets done in metal, but that is going to be a plastic. As you're working your way around the top, again, that's where you need to make sure that whatever waterproof pants or overgear you're wearing sits down over top of the boot, just to make sure you're not getting water pushed in from the top of this. A little pop of reflective there, reinforcements at the toe, reinforcements at the heel, and you're getting D3O for your ankle cups on this. Looking at the sole, thermal welded sole. From a rigidity standpoint, much more rigid than you might expect, about a 5 out of 10, if not a 6 out of 10 on the rigidity scale. So definitely you get the reinforced shank through this, really focusing on that protection first. Great grip to the bottom of this, really sticky. You're not going to worry about sliding around the way that I've had problems with other boots that don't have that kind of grippy pattern to the sole. So from a motorcycle standpoint, the sole on this is really superb. It's a great combination of comfort to walk around in all day, yet reinforcement for support on the foot pegs, as well as plenty of grip to make sure you're not slipping and sliding around. Frankly, something you could get off the motorcycle with if you're doing like a light adventure day and you wanted to go on a hike. Plenty of comfort baked in and plenty of grip baked in. And it is truly a blend between style and functionality from the hiking world. The leather on the waterproof version is going to be a full grain leather. You'll see shift panels that are symmetrically done. So even though you don't need a shift panel on the brake side, you're going to get one. And it's got a really soft touch to the leather. Now, if you're looking at the air version, The Air version is going to use a suede leather, that's the gray portion right here, and then a 3D mesh throughout the chassis of the boot itself. And I like the style of the gray. I think the style of the gray is probably a little bit easier to swallow with that larger Stylmartin logo down the side. But still, the same thoughts in that logo apply. But I do like the Air version. I like the suede on this, and I like that extra bit of airflow that that's going to provide. The other thing to note on both boots is that you do get this lace holder. So there's this neoprene piece up at the top behind the Stylmartin logo. And that is where you can use to tuck your laces up underneath. Typically on a motorcycle, shying away from a laced boot is preferable, just so you don't have to worry about those laces coming undone and getting caught up in any moving bits. Make sure you're doubling up your laces, and then you can go ahead and tuck them up underneath there. I like the fact that the eyelets are the eyelets all the way down are hidden below these little extra leather reinforcements as well. Double stitching throughout. Solid reinforced boot from Stylmartin for those of you out there looking for something a bit more resembling a hiking boot than a riding shoe, but with all the functionality and protection you'd expect from Stylmartin in a motorcycle boot. Now, there are a lot of folks out there putting Stylmartin boots through their paces. If you want to hear more about what they have to say, you can click the little info button on your desktop or mobile device. You can read other rider reviews from folks that are already putting these boots through their paces. And if you're still not sure as to which pair of riding shoes or boots is right for you, you can always reach out to one of our customer service reps. You can give them a call, shoot them an email, and they can walk you through the different boots available to make sure you find the right pair to match with your riding style as well as your budget. I want to thank you for joining us today for this look at the Stylmartin Vertigo boots. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.